Alright, hello fellow humans. It is me, your favorite friend, who is definitely not a computer program. As you can hear by the extremely abundant excitement in my voice, which is perennial to it. And today I come to offer you the continuation of my Castlevania marathon, which, now that I've gotten past the biggest thing that I didn't know how long it was gonna take, because I was so unfamiliar with it, and yet I knew it was gonna take a while. A Curse of Darkness is actually nearing to the end of sort of the middle section of it, I guess. You are to... I don't know if I mentioned this before, I probably have, but I have no clear memory of it, but I think that applies to me regarding most things, since my memory is completely terrible. But what I'm trying to build up to here is, if you were to look at the list of games that I have for the marathon, pretty much everything between the first Castlevania and Rondo of Blood would be, I guess you could call it Classicvania kind of games. Style games, maybe. I tend to call them arcade style, but basically the old school kind of a straight, what do you call it? Trying to arrange this combination of words before I just blurt out stuff that doesn't make sense. Straight kind of side-scrolling action platformer-ish, old school type Castlevania. Would be everything between 1 and 12, between Castlevania and Rondo of Blood, and then between 13 and this game that I'm gonna start today would be the Metroidvania games, which I think the name of that sort of a subgenre speaks for itself in, kind of the best recourse for trying to figure out how to describe that, but what I'm basically building up to by saying that is that the stuff that follows after this point will be something a bit harder to define. Kind of have the blanket term Modernvanias for that, but you'll see precisely what I mean by hard to define when I eventually get to those games. But for now, let me close Steam now that the update that I was making is presumably not going to get in the way anymore, and open up this. And this too, which should be there in this. Okay, good. And let us begin a new chapter in... Well, as soon as I find a thing that I need to do that. In this here sequence. And let me see. Oh boy, what of these is going to be the correct one? I wonder which one is going to be this one. I guess so, alright. I'm pretty sure one of these files that I have lying around for this is like one that is already, what do you call it? One that is already been kind of used, but I'm guessing this was not it, because I think this is a screen that you only see for like first time setup of the file, so let's speak English. You could also speak Francais if we so felt inclined, I guess, but maybe not today. So let's see if this is exactly as I remember it. Alrighty then. So when exactly is freaking Bloodstained coming out? Because, gotta be honest with you, it's just making me want that more. But yes, this is sort of Ecclesia. It is the final Metroidvania that was made for the DS, and it is pretty much the final game in, I guess, but you could say, I don't know, what could you say about this? Goddamn, also my my diction is even worse than usual today. Forgive my incessant stammering, but the final game in what I guess you could call the sort of a, I don't know, original continuity of Castlevania, because there were a few, you know, Lords of Shadow became a thing, but again, I guess you could say, or I could kind of elaborate on what I mean here by saying that that's not really considered part of the original continuity, I guess. But even though there were a couple of games, well, a few games that came out, I guess if you count like arcade-type pachinko stuff, in between this game and when Lords of Shadow started, those didn't really, weren't really like standalone stories that, I guess, further anything about the series. This was pretty much the final actually standalone game that came before the Lords of Shadow thing happened. That's basically what I mean, I guess. And it is also one of my favorites in this style, so let me stop stalling here and just start a new game. It's just a completely clean file, as you can see, so I'll just pick this one, and note that the name I enter will be used with Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, I don't think it will. So let me see, can I use the touchscreen for this? Yes, I can. Alright. Alright, there's my name. And hey, check this out, voice acting in a 2D game.
Returning to life time and again since the ancient Middle Ages, the evil Lord Dracula has driven people to terror. Each time Dracula returned from the dead, the Belmont clan fought him in the shadows, wielding the Holy Whip. Through their efforts, humanity avoided the darkness, securing prosperity. But early in the 19th century, having lost their ability to resist the darkness, those in positions of power at the time began to search for new ways to counter Dracula. Our organization, Ecclesia, was born then as one of those countermeasures. Many organizations were established with the same goal, and day after day, they conducted their studies diligently. But each was dissolved when they failed to produce satisfactory results. But that was when Barlow, the leader of Ecclesia, finally made a surprising breakthrough that could stand up against Dracula.
Right, it wasn't a completely faithful reading of the text, but what are you gonna do, I suppose? Oh, there's our setup. And here's our protagonist, Shanoa, who stands beside this other guy. You might notice too that, you know, rather than the kind of a more softened up artwork that we saw in the other DS games, i.e. Dawn of Sorrow and Portrait of Ruined, kind of back to the old, more kind of harsh and baroque looking, I believe it's still a Yami Kojima artwork. I believe that's the artist's name. Might not be, but kind of a closer in art style to the portraits you see in Symphony and Aria of Sorrow. I believe was pretty much the only other two 2D games like this to use portraits in that style, but currently we got Shanoa and Albus playing a friendly game of hide and seek here. This is our home, you know. This is efficient exposition, you know. Wanted to make sure things are okay here. Any news? Any important events that me and everyone else listening should know about? Well, Barlow chose me as the bearer, you see. We're about to start a ritual so that my body can be a vessel for bracket Dominus bracket, yeah. Did you say bracket Dominus bracket, you? Yeah, that's kind of a thing here. Certain bracket terms, bracket, are spelled out like that. And, it's pretty much without exception whenever they come up. Which depending on how you choose to read it, can break up the, pacing of the dialogue a little bit, but apparently Albus was supposed to be the bearer, and he's not happy about this development. Bearer of Dominus, whatever that might be. It's actually kind of a mystery to me how you're supposed to pronounce that, since I read it as Dominus, but based on some of the voice clips that are in the game, it might be Domanus. I don't know, I guess. I don't really know what accent you would have to use to pronounce it like that, though, to be honest, but Arlo said that he's unfit to be the bearer. He would never say such a thing, though. And someone's clanging the lunchtime bell, so sorry, I gotta go. Albus really doesn't want that to happen, though. As much a member of Ecclesia as you are. So Sinnoh was a bit miffed about that, I guess. Our sole purpose is to destroy Dracula so people can look to dawn without fearing the darkness, and well, yeah. Something also kind of uncertain is like the date during which this game takes place, whereas typically Castlevania games have a kind of what do you call it? Actually, wait a moment. I don't know. Typically Castlevania games have some kind of a, that bother with dates have some kind of a precision to that, but basically this one doesn't give any kind of a given or particular date other than the 1800s. Sometime in the 1800s, you have to assume it has to be mid to late 1800s, so because... Hey, check it out, I found a chest. You heard one good old, references to Castlevania 1 and how docking in certain places will help you find hidden stuff like that. Well, let's just go. But yeah, it wouldn't really make sense for it to be like super early 1800s because of the dates in what do you call it, in Rondo and Symphony, which is like the end of the 1700s, like 1790s even. Oh boy, Albus really upset by this. Is really upset by this. Orders may be orders, but I'm holding you to your promise. Oh boy. So this is Barlow. I guess he's our boss of this organization, which, by the way, only has 3 people. You've already met all of them now that he's shown up. It will be nearly impossible for you to control its power. The purpose of this ritual is to make sure your body will adjust to Dominus. When it's over, you will be able to wield our most powerful glyph. So when you are bound to Dominus, you will be able to wield Dominus. That's kind of oddly phrased, like the same thing as 2 different things, I don't know. It was created as the ultimate weapon against Dracula, and apparently I, Barlow, discovered it if you were paying attention to the intro speech scroll. You will become our world's new savior. Shanoa Christ. Oh boy, so here are the glyphs. They're an interesting new-fangled thing. But a bit more on that later, because right now, oh boy. This is going on. Who are? Well, apparently Shanoa's not doing too great after whatever just happened. You know how crucial the ritual is. You know how obnoxious it is to levitate books in the air like that. Wants to be the bearer, so he's still really hung up about that. Shanoa is the only one with the capacity for Dominus, you know that as well as I do. Tell her to overcome my weakness, what happened to working together? Perhaps we still can, well, maybe not if he's so intent on having Shanoa be the bearer. What do you intend to do with Dominus? Each one of us has a role, and like a fine master, you've finally shown me what mine must be. What you planning? I will be taking Dominus, as if that weren't, sufficiently obvious. Without that glyph, our mission is a failure, Dracula's vessel. I have my own mission, well. I'm gonna find out about Dracula's vessel though, but we're gonna catch a glimpse of his spiffy magical gun that he has. And Barlow's Sith lightning that he also has. Several weeks pass in this seamless transition. And now our training regimen shall soon conclude, so I guess Shadow forgot everything. We tap the power in all things great and small to forge glyphs through Ecclesia's secret art, and so we gain the strength to save mankind. So yeah, these are glyphs, they are the weapons of this game. And absorbing a new glyph gives us the glyph and 10 hearts. Just got Confedere, a rapier glyph. Pretty sure that these swords are Latin. I'm not entirely certain of how much each one relates to what it's supposed to represent, though. Absorb a glyph and you shall know its kind. That is your gift. I must teach you from the start again. Pity that this had to happen now, even though apparently this is several weeks after the fact, so... You kind of have to assume we had this conversation in the past, but... Better say it again now while the cameras are rolling, I guess. A glyph can be equipped. Here's what the menu looks like. And we can see a few things that aren't quite pertinent yet, like the mysterious villager details. I wonder what that could be about. The guides to terms, Ecclesia glyph. Oh, it's a glossary from Dawn of Sorrow again, I guess. Shanoa is one of Ecclesia's female warriors. Actually, from what I've seen, Shanoa is the only female member of Ecclesia. So the only female warrior. Joined the clan at a young age and was groomed into her training to destroy Count Dracula. An accident during the Dominus ceremony wiped away her memories and emotions, as I'm sure we managed to figure out from that scene. And she can use glyphs. Chest. Dominus Vlad Tepes Dracula is a powerful vampire and the Lord of Evil. His dark magic is embodied in the demon fortress Castlevania. And there's a mention of the Belmonts, but they don't actually show up in the game, you know, spoilers. One day they simply vanished. In their absence, a number of clans have risen in their place to continue the fight against evil, so... You don't have to imagine if this follows the, you know... the continuity for the rest of the games, that apparently the Morrises are gonna have to be involved in there somewhere, and the Licardas, but... We're also not gonna hear a word about them in this game. And here's something else about glyphs. They consume MP. As you can see, they're attacking. We can attack dual wield very efficiently, but also our MP recovers way faster than it usually does in these games. I really might imagine the reason why, because we need that just to do basic attacks, so kind of important. But for that reason, we now have, you know, hearts again as a separate thing from MP. And was the last time I had something like that, actually? I think it was in Harmony of Dissonance. I know for a fact that it was in the one before that, Circle of the Moon, I think, at least. So we not only have MP as something that regenerates that we use for special attacks, but also hearts that we use for super special attacks, such as Glyph Unions, which consume hearts. After that, training regiment. Oh yeah, we have these pots, by the way, that drop infinite hearts when we stand next to them. And duck. I think that says Descendo Lumen in the back. Maybe. More of that gratuitous Latin that we get in these games. From Netherworlds, I call your enemy. Yeah, greatest warrior once again. This organization which... I keep saying it has only 3 people, and as a matter of fact, we only ever see 3 people that are in any way connected to it in this game. But if you read the lore that you get in the game, I guess it's kind of very vaguely implied that they like report to a higher organization, but we never find any details about that, so we're kind of left with this. Now your mission must begin at once. Recover the Supreme Glyph Dominus. My pupil has it, always is his name. That guy who you've forgotten about. Your feelings then, you knew of him before. Nothing of him It is he who robbed your memories blind. He caused you that, and caused mankind its wish. This is all his doing, but why? He coveted your power and your fate, but Dominus was yours alone to bear. Perhaps you'd still be whole, well. Why didn't you do that then? You can save the world from nothing less than Dracula himself. Retrieve it and we burn him back to dust. There's nothing else that's ever mattered more. Alright. Dominus cannot be used by ordinary men, not even Albus. It requires you, no flesh but yours, can ever host a glyph. That seems kind of a weird thing, honestly, because you get glyphs from quite a wide variety of sources in this, so this claim that only Shadow I can use them is kind of weird, to say the least. You may yet find another way, oh boy. So maybe Albus can figure it out, I don't know, maybe you're not as unique as you thought you were. Bring him back unharmed unless he proves too stubborn, well. Mr. Mentorman here no longer flees if we attack him. But hey, there we go. I think he's actually relocated to this room, yeah. Here he is now. Glyphs in both arms, alternate to launch a series of attacks. But the timing varies depending on which glyph you use. Also, I guess this thing back here, which is not really clear what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like, what do you call it? The remains of Dracula? I don't know. So what's stopping any of the random groups of cultists that, are apparently prominent in Castlevania backstories from just walking in here and making some kind of weird blood ritual to immediately bring Dracula back to life, even though it's been less than 100 years since the last time that happened? Hasn't stopped him before. Well, here's the monastery, which we go to from the world map, which I just kind of glossed over and didn't say anything about. But hey, that's how this works now. We got multiple locations. So something that hasn't really been around since like Simon's Quest or Rondo. A bit more Simon's Quest though, since I was, could be said that was the first Metroidvania. Let's consider Vampire Killer, I guess. But certainly the first one to take place in various locations that weren't just restricted to the castle. Oh boy, also that chest, and not just any other chest but a shiny green chest, which I could explain how the chest system works in this. But well, first let's take a look around. Let's not get ahead of ourselves too much right now, because we got this good old action to get used to. Alternate between X and Y, or Y and X I guess, since typically Y in the DS buttons is the better button with which to initiate combat. This control scheme, I don't know, it's not set in stone either, but yeah, at least with this weapon. Oh boy. This weapon, which is a little bit less cumbersome than some of these stronger weapons, I guess you could say. The trick is to just use the amazing dual-wield mechanic and attack it with a quick series of attacks like that, at least on the ground. You run into flying enemies like the Banshees there. Can't really do that in the air. We're gonna have to find some stronger weapons eventually, but oh man, I feel like this is like the Metroidvania that they visually put the most effort into after Symphony. Well, of the ones that came after Symphony, I guess. Also, check it out, we got the Magnus glyph, which is equipped to R. It's kind of a different range of glyphs, the ones that can be equipped to the attack buttons and the ones that can be equipped to R, because the ones that are equipped to R have different effects, such as this. We can create a magnetic sling, or just kind of move around. you know, unsurprisingly we need that to proceed. So it's quite a good thing that we get it so early into the game. Ooh, okay. Let's get this treasure chests. It has a cotton hat inside. Ooh. And take a look at the ghosts in this game, which are like flying horse heads on fire. It's a bit weird. Considering typically they're like, I don't know, like upper bodies of small creatures, which are also on fire, but or just like little skeletons, I guess. Or skeletonized upper bodies, I guess is what I meant. Like I said the previous thing. It's like small creatures, but now they're just decapitated. Or obviously decapitated. I don't know if you can say that actually. Decapitated heads would be like heads without heads. Also, let's grab this, rescue this cat if we can. Maybe. I have to get this fucker certainly. There we go. Caught you, is what she said. In case you couldn't hear it. Oh boy, HP max up. This game has, I can't remember any, like, game-breaking glitches for it off the top of my head. Of the ilk that's... I don't know, the duplication for the Crush Awards glitch and Portrait of Ruin. Glitches that can have that kind of impact. I can't really think of any, but... You don't really get a wall with a bunch of destructible blocks that nevertheless keep coming down, so let's move away from here. After killing the Bone Scimitar. Notice too how, other than the... Well, you got the enemy status screen, I guess you got the 2 slots for drop items, but you got one additional one below that. You might be wondering what that's about, but we'll find out very soon, I think. If you are paying attention to the death animation for that guy, you might have already figured it out, but for now, let's just proceed. Can't really get this chest up here, because we can't double jump or anything, and can't jump kick, can't get high enough to reach it, basically. You have to make a note of that. I forget if you can do that actually. Like, oh yeah, you can. Okay, so where am I right now? I have to come back for that. It's gonna let me go ahead and put that there. Why would they not have that functionality after they did have it in Portrait of Ruin? Yeah, check this out. These statues that show up in the background, we can break them open and get stuff like this. One glyphs, like Coulter and Knife Glyph, which I think is just the same as the normal knife sub-weapon, except, you know, it's just a glyph. Which basically means, well, let me try it out actually. And if I equip it, I'm guessing I'm gonna be able to use it, like, from a distance. And I better do, yeah, because, as you can see, it has considerably less attack power than the rapier has. So yeah, this thing not that great, but might as well try it out just for the novelty of it, I guess. I'll just equip the rapier again. And continue on. So you might be noticing too the variety of the color in the chests here. And I'll just kind of explain how that works. You see the red chests and the gold chests, such as the one that's popping right now. Which are basically predetermined chests that will always be in the same location and will always have the same contents, excuse me. However, there's the more, I guess you could say ordinary chests, or not so ordinary chests, as you can find out. Oh, we got the Book of Spirits. We can now see the names of the enemies without having to switch to the status screen. So there's that. But then you get like up here. If I can get up here. We got this brown chest, normal wooden chest. Which we think like I shall be able to get to, which has a bit of cotton thread inside. And you might recall that I found a chest that was green and sparkly near the entrance. Well, the brown chests and the green chests are actually randomized, basically. As you explore these worlds, you can find the brown chests and the green chests, and when you leave the worlds and come back, they pretty much respawn and get their contents refilled, and their contents are also randomized, pretty much, or like also random drops, you could say, except their chests. And the brown chests, the wooden chests are common, and the green chests are the rare variety. That is more likely to show up if you wear luck boosting items, for instance. I think there's some items in the game that you can only get by finding them in those, you know, random chests, but... yeah, basically a new sort of items that actually is renewable and replenishes itself if you keep coming back to this place a certain part of the game. And if there was just one word, so the image is coming out of my mouth, which I think it was to an extent. I hope it'll make more sense as I keep going through this, but for now, I just keep doing precisely that. See this chest, I guess I could see, keep it a little better. Try to explain it better by demonstrating. It's brown now, but if my luck stat were a little higher, it could maybe be green, like the one we found at the beginning. And because it's brown, we're gonna get an item that's from the pool of common items, I guess. And if it were a green chest, it would be from the pool of rare items, so let's see what common item we get. It's anti-venom, we got cotton thread before. Could have gotten that there too, but we didn't. So there you go. See, sometimes it's better to have the right context to explain how that kind of stuff works. Maybe I should learn from that. See, this is why I could never be a teacher of any kind. I suck at explaining anything. Actually, I don't remember. Do we still get like a percentage? Yes, we do, for each map that we uncover. Don't remember if there's like a percentage total in the files that's related to the map percentage specifically, but if that is the case, then I would not be surprised. So I will get from this one, got more anti-venom. Alright, even though I don't even think there's anything around here that can even poison us, but because it's good to have. So let's keep going. We made it to level... what level have we made it to, actually? It's more anti-venom, I guess. The anti-venom is more common than the cotton thread, which is the other drop. As we have seen, we got to level 4. Alright. Also, we see that blue triangle that shows up whenever we kill certain enemies. Or because of the, pretty limited pool of enemies that we've encountered so far. We killed that one enemy, the Bone Scimitar. There's a reason why that's there. And I kinda hope that we would have found out why by, through demonstration. Or we got to this point, but apparently I'm not gonna have that wish. But that's alright, we'll find out eventually, I'm sure of it. So these big blue things, as you can see by the color on the map. Well, not right now, but if you, there you go, there are your war points. I don't know why they chose to make them look like this, but hey, the saving statues have been looking pretty much the same way ever since Sorry of Sorrow, pretty much. It's like a angel statue or virgin statue is what it was in that game. Whereas in Harmony of Dissonance it was a giant kind of polyhedron that's supposed to turn into Aldecrude's coffin, but it doesn't do anything like that. And then in Circle of the Moon you just got a big old, I guess kind of a, I don't know, like a pedestal with a big circle on top of that. Let's make it to this room where we can fight the first boss of the game, the Arthroberta, excuse me. And my consonant's not quite right there. So I don't think this is supposed to be like any particular enemy from any recent games, but based on some of the stuff I've seen about this enemy, it might actually be a reference to some of the enemies from Castlevania the Adventure on the Game Boy. Or like some beetle type enemies in those games. And I remember them. I remember there's been one part where you can go into like a room that goes dark. And the only way to make it not dark is by killing those enemies. And I don't remember if any of them had a face like this though. I don't think they did. As you can see, the patterns for this boss are kind of limited. kind of the same thing over and over again. And then when it rolls and, like Sonic, just hang on to the magnet, what do you call it, like an anchor to escape damage, and then here's a new thing they added to this game. Manage to kill the boss without taking any hits. You get a boss medal, such as the Arthro medal. And I can consider trying to go for like an all boss medals run, but I really don't think that's gonna happen, since that's actually really difficult to do on any playthrough that isn't New Game Plus in some capacity because of a few things. But anyway, now that we made it to the end of this place, hey, here's Albus. Looks like our mission's complete. Still slaving away for the old man, are we? I've seen you before. Your name is Albus, is it not? By order of my master, I am to retrieve the Dominus Glyph and return you home. I have no home, the old man saw to that. Oh boy, that's not a request. We gotta take on this Kung Fu pose and approach, but apparently things aren't gonna be quite that simple. I recall you being a great deal more graceful than that, and you've forgotten your skill with glyphs as well. I've forgotten thanks to you. You must come back by order of Master Barlow. Oh boy, never say that name again. Concentrate, Noah. Well, what I'm gonna do is duck there. Best be off. Well, there he goes. Didn't quite succeed in our quarry there, but he did drop something. I can't read any of the stuff on that map, but apparently he marked a village on this map, so now that we've gone ahead and concluded this little exploration, you know, that kind of makes me wonder if she didn't know where to look for Albus, then why did she come here in the first place? What compelled her to look here first? And for good reason, since this did turn out to be the first place where he showed up. I don't think they ever addressed that in the dialogue. I don't know, maybe I'm just bad at reading, but I don't think so in this case. I don't think they ever actually explain away why she came here first. But hey, her mission here is now concluded, so off we go to the rest of the world. Starting with Weigel Village. AKA our new hub area. There's a glyph that just Albus is doing. So let's go ahead and absorb that. It is torpor, a glyph that incapacitates opponents, and apparently
you have saved me.
That he used to trap this guy and Nikolai. I did this to you. Everyone in the village has been taken. By whom? I asked you this before. That man. Oh, I see. Spirited away the other 12 and then imprisoned me, but the Lord must have sent you to our aid. Well, you said something about the prison island, so long ago criminals were banished to that forsaken place. Some say their souls still wander the island, which is forever cursed. You can get there through these very woods. Did Albus really take the villagers to a prison island bracket? And for what purpose? Well, I guess we'll find out eventually, so yes. The village is very, very empty right now.
Everyone is all right.
I wonder if everyone is alright. I'm Nikolai the priest watching over the town, so well, there's pretty much no one here, because everyone's been kidnapped and taken away. But we can get into the houses to get the chests with coffee and milk and meat, I think that's what they have. Only getting coffee right now, though, by the looks of it. I can also break these barrels, but I don't think there's any point to that right now. Or ever, really, except for one very specific quest, I guess. It's more of an event, I don't know. Wait, 3 chests in the village. Alright, that one had milk. So let's save the game, and rather than go into these 2 other places, which, well, there's a cat we saved. Let's go back to this house, and well, we can attack it, and it stands up like that, but other than that, there's no consequence. let's go down here to the Ruvus forest. Which, with any luck, should provide us with a better glyph, I hope, because I'm kind of in need of that right now. Bone Scimitar. It's supposed to drop something, that's what the blue triangle's about, but it's not done so yet, even though it's supposed to be not very rare. Also, watch out for the Nominons here, which... 16, I thought they had 20 health for some reason. But if they catch a hold of you, they can be very painful. Also, the wounds are back, as you can see, they're still just a nuisance, pretty much. We got something new, it's Monsieur the Hammer Glyph. Let's see. Well, Monsieur is apparently stronger than... Well, let me equip that to X. That's what it looks like, and it's apparently stronger than Sword Glyph, but like if you attack Nominon with Monsieur rather than Confedera, then it actually takes less damage, and that actually has to do with, you know, weaknesses in this game. But first, let's, not comment about how we just absorbed the Necromancer's zombie summoning glyph. We can do more of that. And then kill the Necromancer, which is just gonna get old. But yeah, basically the way in which different enemies react to different types of weapons like slashing, bashing, and piercing, I think these are the three main varieties. Actually kind of a big deal in this game, and a bigger deal than it was in any other, to my knowledge, any other Castlevania game, that is. Need to learn which enemies are weak against slicing, which ones are weak against bashing, and which ones are weak against the other kind, piercing. And which ones are resistant to those things, That's also pretty important, or else you're gonna be very inconvenienced. I can't be right now. Mostly because the bats won't stop, but... Oh boy. You can see the difference between the damage made with these different weapons, and so the Axe Knight. Not Axe Armor, that's actually really interesting. Like, it's mostly just very small difference, but I think Axe Knight is like the generally accepted old version of the name for these types of enemies. The armors that throw the axes, and Axe Armor is the more kind of modern Metroidvania-ish variation on that name. I really want these fuckers to drop the glyph that they're obviously trying to drop, but they don't. Don't want to do that, apparently. I get the feeling I'm gonna go through this entire area without even getting that. Also a pretty important thing to learn at this point is that the fact that if the enemies cast glyphs like that, and actually make them appear as they're casting them. You can steal them from them as they try to cast them. Also make sure that the Axe Armor is holding a... well, Axe Knight, I guess in this case. Holding an axe in its hand as you kill it, because that is the only way that you can have a possibility of it dropping a glyph, which, 3 guesses as to which glyph that's gonna be. That eventually drops. Not even gonna try to go for every glyph in the game for this run, but it would be nice to get as many of them as I can at least. Definitely not gonna get the sword glyph that guy has yet to drop though, apparently. So we've gotten through the forest at least. Pretty sure once we manage to do that, we can choose which of the 2 entrances or exits to enter from. We can see the prison island off in the distance, but before we can get there we need to pass through the Caludus channel. So let's do that. Bear in mind that we are technically a amnesiac, unskilled person, and so we can't swim, so we just kind of cling to the surface the whole time. Rush. And we see this giant ship in the background. I think it's a reference to some other Castlevania game, but I can't remember which in particular. I think it might just be a reference to like Rondo, but I can't tell. It seems like everything's a reference to Rondo, since that's like one of the most influential Castlevanias for kind of a classic quote-unquote elements that would be referenced in the Metroidvania era. Kind of like, I've been playing a few Mario games recently. Being Mario or Paper Mario specifically for the N64. Again for the first time in many years, because I was doing it for retro achievements, if you know what that is, but something I've noticed while looking at a bunch of the old school Mario games is that Mario 3 seems to be the single most influential Mario game for stuff that would get referenced later in the series. Also, there's a magical ticket and some other guy who's trapped in the magical crystal seal. Thanks, Jacob says. Oh, you saved me, thanks. He's got a general story in Rival Village, and on that note he should probably get back to it. I'm just gonna shrug off the fact that I was trapped in a crystal. Might have some things you can use. Come by the shop and we'll do business. So you kind of have to wonder, since they're like trapped and completely immobile in there. Is there an issue? Do I have an issue with being unable to breathe or being unable to eat or all that stuff? Like, do they just like freeze in time? Are they not affected by that stuff? I should really have to wonder. I'll be chased by sea stickers. I'm pretty sure I got a circle drop from one of the mermen, but I couldn't actually grab it because it just fell down to the bottom and I can't go there myself right now. So I can't swim. Or at least, this tells me that if I get a drop from an enemy, even if I don't grab the actual drop, it'll still get listed in my bestiary thing. Which I guess is better than the alternative, I don't know. I'm trying to fill out the bestiary, which is something else I'm probably not going to be doing, since, it'll take a long grinding time. So we can make it to the prison island now. I think I will go there first. Only so I can get this little intro with the text, and then check out this room with the teleporter thing. But as you can see, there's a boss right there, and it's actually a tough one for this point in the game. Quit my Monsieur glyph, since I think that's better for this upcoming fight here. Oh yeah, the story guys there now. What do you have to say about that, Nikolai?
If everyone is all right.
Still just saying the same thing, which is please save everyone, even though I saved one guy.
Welcome.
Welcome. My inventory's a little backlogged right now, but have a look around. I'd give you things for free if I could, but you know how business is these days, well, whatever you say. You know, if you see anything you like.
Want to buy something?
Want to buy something? Alright. Well, there's some stuff you can get, like the babushka, the leather cuirass, and how much money do we have actually? 640. Souvenir shoes, Cossack boots. I could buy some of this stuff, but I don't know. I guess I will, I don't know. Don't think there's that much stuff in the game that, like,
Come back again.
Come back again, alright. I got a cotton hat at some point and I did not equip it. Well, I think we got it from a chest in the first area. Got casual clothes, everyday clothes for around the house or castle, but let's replace it with a leather cuirass. Which, you know, unfortunately doesn't affect our visual appearance, but you know, apparently that's gonna be a thing in Bloodstained. Apparently there is gonna be, you know, the stuff you equip will be reflected by your actual character, so, you know, Dark Souls. Alright, maybe not. But yeah, also before I forget what I was trying to say about the stuff you buy at the shop, is that I don't think there's that much stuff, many items in the game that's like shop exclusives. You can get most of the stuff just by finding it somewhere else, so probably not going to be spending that much money on stuff. So it's not at all like Portrait of Ruin in that regard, so... Let's get in here and get noticed immediately. Which means he will sick this guy on us. He is the giant skeleton. Very, sort of descriptive name. Efficient naming, and oh wow. Oh man, I don't think I'm gonna get this guy's boss medal, I don't know. Seems a bit unlikely at this point. Alright. Also, if you're new to this game, which I'm not, but I have quite vivid memories of when I was. This is the point in the game at which you realize it's probably gonna be, quite a bit harder than the other two DS Metroidvanias were. And this guy's a good representative of that. He's not a pushover, let's put it that way. And I'm trying to get, I'm trying not to get hit because I'm going for the boss medal if possible, but he hits like a truck, let's put it that way. I deeply regret not being able to hit him with all four of my charged up lift union hits. Trying to do the dual wield combos as much as I can, but apparently I'm not that good at it, the timing. But I did it, alright. Also because of his jittery, jerky-ass movement, it's actually pretty difficult to dodge him efficiently, so that you never get hit. Especially if you're, you're a new game, you're playing a normal new game, and basically you are not as overpowered as you could be if you were playing a New Game Plus, for instance. So you have to last longer and hit him more times. Which is quite a pain in the ass, but I was somehow able to get it on the first try, which, to be quite honest, I was not expecting, but... Hey, you know what they say about looking a gift horse in the mouth, alright. Let's explore the prison island out of the gate, and the way inside is clear. That was an unfortunate accidental combination of words. Alright. Also, as you can see, there's more of these searchlights here, but unfortunately they're not going to summon a giant skeleton anymore. They are gonna summon something bad, but I don't know, I think the thing that they summon on this screen, if you get seen, is actually not that bad, so it's time to just clear this thing out so that we can potentially do force. So that we have a relatively clear area to do this in, if it does happen, which was going to be on purpose, and so I triggered it a little early, but this is all part of the plan, because this thing is actually pretty easy to dodge, as you can see. So I probably should have recharged my heart when I was at the village, but there we go. Evil Force. Quite a bit stronger than anything else we've fought so far, but you can totally just destroy it if you're persistent enough. And I am, so... As you can see, the armor knights here, or spear guard as they're renamed in this... well, not renamed. Where are you guys renamed? I don't know. I think it's called armor knights, as far as I'm aware. So they just like changing around the names of some of the enemies. In these games, even though for the most part they're exactly the same. Because they're recycled from earlier games such as Rondo, at least visually. I don't know if any of the other variations in this enemy before this game had like the move where they throw the spear and just try to like attack you with martial arts after that until you kill them. Not to say that yes they did, but I can't remember any particular examples right now. Also that's the glyph they drop, which is presumably going to be a lance glyph. So apparently it's supposed to not be that rare, so I'd really like them to drop it soon. Really don't know if I'm gonna be able to counter that though, probably not. You know how it is. You get a cabriolet. apparently the archers here also drop a glyph. I wonder what it could be. Oh, well, apparently the drops for the countess in this are the same as in the monastery. At least I'm guessing based on what I've seen so far. Oh boy, I love not getting any new glyphs, even though it should be. Based on how non-rare those are supposed to be. Well, just a bunch of disappearing blue triangles, I guess. So is the thing that I got any better than the thing I had, except for intelligence, which... Well, I think that I still have like attack, yeah I do. I think attack, strength and intelligence are like a bit more intimately related in this game. Considering how you use magic for the regular attacks even. But I couldn't really tell you, like maybe they're just for the glyph unions. That could also be the case. Let's see if I'm gonna have that chamomile or slightly drop items. I don't think that's in the first monastery chest range. Drop item range. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna need that for our quest eventually, so... Good to have. Oh, there we go. One of them dropped the glyph. There's Arcus above glyph, which I'm pretty sure is gonna be weaker than Masir, you know, that's like our most overpowered glyph right now, but because of that I'm going to refrain from equipping it at this moment. Definitely would like to expand my glyph collection though. Just on principle, I guess you could say. Holy crap, I am drowsy right now, I don't know why. I had a good night's sleep. Probably just my stupid brain thinking that because of my fucked up sleep cycles I should probably be sleeping right now. You know, I'm trying to break away from that. It is currently 4:38 PM, you know. And I got the priestess ring behind this secret breakable wall. Who would have guessed that those things would be a thing? Raises integrity but lowers attack. I think we'll do that, why not? And that guy dropped his axe glyph, what do you know? There's Asia, the axe glyph, which I'm pretty sure you can throw up. Yep, it's like the axe sub-weapon. Which is not really surprising considering that, when I equip that, considering how that's usually associated with these types of enemies. I got military wear from the rare chest. Made with a specialized fiber to be blade resistant. Well, apparently it's exactly the same as the leather cuirass as far as stats, but why not? These look a bit spiffier, so I'll equip them. Well, let us continue exploring the prison island, because well, I don't think we can explore very far in this direction, because we got the bone guards, Symphony, but we cannot jump high enough to get up into this platform, I don't believe, and we can't even like do the old Metroid type trick where we were knocked up there. Well, this kind of reminds me of some parts of Castlevania 3 where you're trying to climb up certain rooms with staircases and you get a bunch of these winged skeleton fuckers coming at you from every direction. Pretty sure all these, you know, the winged skeleton enemies design-wise are originally from Castlevania 3. I do vividly remember that being the case. All the way to level. Oh, we got a lance glyph, let's not miss that. Hasta, and we made it to level 8. Leveling at quite a good range. At quite a good pace, rather. That's what I actually mean. Lance glyph is apparently almost as powerful as Masir. Guessing it has the piercing element too. Well, it might be a bit more prudent to equip that instead of Masir, let me see. Because it has quite a bit more range. I think I will actually switch to stuff for that reason. It reaches so far. Oh, we got the Invisible Man again from the enemy from, I think, Dawn of Sorrow, but definitely Portrait of Ruin, and like in either one of those games or both of those games, he's pretty much skilled in Kung Fu, I guess. Martial arts. Oh, gee, I wonder how to avoid these traps. Boy, please get it. See, as you can see, there's a bit of a problem with getting glyphs, namely that you need to hold up to absorb glyphs, but the whole animation needs to be uninterrupted. But we made it into this room with the interesting tubes and the operating table, and here's Albus again. Impressive, you managed to beat that skeleton without getting hit. I'm actually really impressed. It's fortunate I already prepared you a reward. Check it out, it's a disc. It's also one of the Dominus glyphs, so let's go ahead and take that. Actually, let's not. Let's question him first. No time to waste. Well, I'm gonna try to attack you with my lance glyph, but apparently he's just gonna warp away, and we can't just walk away because we need to absorb the glyph. Alright, so we will. One piece of Dominus Hatred, summons a pillar of light. Sounds really lovely. It really is Dominus, what are you thinking? With that much power, it's impossible to conceal its source. Well, source of Dominus, what does that mean? What it means is when I was right. This is your last chance to come back to Ecclesia. Well, place is no longer as the old man's errand boy. I have a role to fulfill, and fulfill it I shall. So you have to assume because of that sound that he left. How was he able to create a glyph without casting it? I thought only I could. Arlo should hear of this. I guess we're gonna have to make another quick trip to Ecclesia. If we manage to get back, also note both the swinging pendulum here and the Iron Maidens with conspicuous switches in front of them. I don't think I want to demonstrate, but you get the idea. If you step on the switches that are right in front of the Iron Maidens, then you're in for a bad time. 500 gold. Well, here's somebody else.
Saved!
Aha, rescued at last, but only to be butchered by the She-Devil. I have no interest in butchering you, sir. Alrighty then. Abram. That's what you say when people say your life, right? As a town's official healer, please come visit my establishment if you dare. So that's 2 villagers rescued, not counting the guy who was left at the village. There's like 16, no, there's 12 of them, that's right. Nikolai, Jacob, Abram, and there should be 11 more. 1, 2, 3. 10. No, 11 more. I can't count, I'm sorry. I'm clearly challenged in this regard. Also, the creature is here. He looks quite a bit different from other incarnations of the Frankenstein's monster. And well, he has a lot of health, as you can see. He will also kick you with just a straight up kick like that. But eventually he will just burn up, like so. I think if you go back to the room where we met Albus just now after we get that cutscene, then there's gonna be another monster like that waiting for us there. So, I think you can do a little bit of selective experience grinding if you keep killing these stronger enemies in this area, like the Frankenstein's monsters and the evil force. And there is one other enemy type that comes out if you can. Well, not if you can, if you get detected by the searchlights outside. But that enemy type is far too problematic for me to bother with it, so. Try to get Magnus and another save room here. I think there might be some breakable walls I'm not getting, but that's alright. We're gonna have to come back here eventually. For a very specific reason. Let's put it that way for now. Oh, I hear another cat. Also a demon. Oh, he certainly looks different. Drop from recover ore from the Armor Knights. Another called Spear Knights, but I'm still gonna call them Armor Knights. Or Spear Guards, excuse me. That's what I'm used to, you know. So I'm pretty sure the cat is gonna be on the upper platform here, so let's go rescue it. I will mock you by destroying you with your own weapon. Caught you. Right. So yeah, cat saving is kind of a side quest to this. Over the course of this whole game. Cat rescue. Of all the cats that apparently missing from the village, and we're gonna have to restore. I don't think there's any reward or incentive for doing that for the most part, except for one particular cat that I can think of. He also got Sage from that wooden chest just now, which I'm pretty sure is gonna come in handy very soon. Let's see, we got another power point, and not only that, also another statue and an archer here. And this statue has, I think, one of my favorite glyph varieties, Faltius sickle glyph. It says sickle, but it's actually more of a scythe glyph, as we'll find out in just a moment. Well, this one in particular, I guess, is a sickle, but it gets bigger and bigger as we collect more of it. More powerful varieties of it, I guess. Point where I don't think you can call it a sickle anymore. Also, check out this room with the electrical currents traveling through it. Let's learn about physics with Bill Nye. Yeah, they can hurt a lot since this is kind of a trap area where I have to try and get to the end here. And they hurt us. I think the amount of damage they do is comparable to spikes in some of the other Castlevania booms, but we absorb Volfulgur, which is called shocking electricity, which is apparently the source of these things. And they stop coming from the left at least, and any that had been already spawned are just keep traveling through the room until they leave. And then they are gone forever. I think we're almost out of here, as you can see. We've gotten to the point where we're trying to activate the searchlight monsters on purpose is not really worth it, because the monster, well, I might show it off just once I make sure the rest of this place is clear, just to show it, but I'm not fighting it because it's really not worth it. Alright. Let's go to the far end of this place, and right, so if you activate the searchlight here, you get chased by a Tin Man from the library in Symphony of the Night, but these versions of the Tin Men are way worse, basically. Way more terrible and insufferable, and they hurt a lot more, so I'm not fighting those. Not until I have to really late in the game, anyway. Also we got a glyph sleeve, which is pretty much the same as the doppelganger soul in Dawn of Sorrow, which basically lets you have different loadouts of weapons, which actually, come to think of it, I don't think there was anything like that in what you call it, in Portrait of Ruin, which is kind of weird in retrospect, because it would have been pretty useful. Could have been. We already got enough of that with the different loadouts that Jonathan and Charlotte had, but I don't know.
Yo, there you are!
So here's Abram. We've come at last. At an awkward time, I see. Well, awkward, no, inconvenient, yes. I would prepare a proper thanks, a gift of medicine, but now is not the time. He did it, the man who abducted us. He took all the materials I had. Could it be for some experiment? No doubt, so go and find me more materials. Then, only then will I trust you enough to thank you for saving my life. Well, I need sage, so bring it and find it here. I believe we have a little bit of that. And we'll see who trusts who, won't we?
Yo, there you are!
Oh, there you are. Yes, that's definitely sage, so thank you. I'll make your precious medicine. I'll even have the store stock it. But don't you dare ask to have it free.
My stuff really works.
My stuff really works.
Yo,
Right.
there you are! are.
No, chamomile and rude, and I'll make an antidote for poison. You're not poisoned, are you? Well, this will cure you. Then maybe I'll trust you more. Alright, so I guess potions are at the shop now, I would imagine.
Welcome. Hey, want to buy something?
Yeah, potions, tonics, and I guess that's it. Guessing that's pretty much the only addition.
Come back again.
Oh, that's how you unlock being able to buy potions and MP up items at the shop, I guess.
I wonder if everyone is all right.
So I guess he's gonna keep saying that. Gonna keep saying the exact same line until we rescued every villager. Well, let's go to the next area, which is the lighthouse. Because now that we've... Actually, wait a minute. Before we do that, let's go back to Ecclesia, because as you can see... Yes, we're still chasing after Albus, but... I don't really know where he would have gone next, but we did see something with how he gave us that glyph that apparently we should report to Barlow, so let's go ahead and do that right now. In Castlevania, shadowy evil thrives. No, in Castlevania, shadow, evil thrives. Its memory alone attracts all fiends. To win, one must exploit their weaknesses. The skeleton for one sees rocks of ice, but fire devastates, obviously. And of course, a simple violent blow works wonders too, which you are far more likely to discover. Right, apparently he wants to talk about the weakness of the skeleton, but... Well, you can see the list of weaknesses and strengths that they have at the bottom there of the status screen for each enemy. So no, I guess we'll be going to the lighthouse first. Don't have any healing items right now, do we? We have 2 potions and 1 hiding. Where do we get most of this stuff? It's just from randomly finding them in several places, I suppose. Can't fall down here, can we? No bottomless pits in Metroidvania, you know. Here we get a new boss already. I wonder who it could be. Well, to climb up the lighthouse, so let's do that right now. Lighthouses such as you would probably find in ancient Japan. Now we're setting up a terrible joke, like a 10 or 11-year-old joke, but I think that's kind of undercut by the fact that that guy... Did you know that monster noise that this boss makes? Alright, that's how that works. Yeah, it's actually had an already pre-dubbed monster noise in the Japanese audio version of this. And it sounds a lot more monsters than the version that shows up in the English audio, and they actually redubbed it for some reason, even though they really didn't have to. But this guy's called Rakura, as you can see, and he's kind of an interesting boss because he has thousands of health, but he doesn't actually need any of that. It's kind of a puzzle as to how you're supposed to fight him. If you duck... Hang on, can I avoid downside? Yeah. I could have potentially... Could have potentially gotten the boss medal for fighting this guy, I think, but it's kind of a pain, as you will find out, to try and consistently fight him without getting hit at all, because he does random moves particularly with his big old claw there that are just a giant pain to predict. And like I said, he has thousands of health, but you can't even kill him normally just by beating him over and over until he dies. That's not how this fight works, as you might have divined by how we're climbing up the lighthouse here. I'm afraid it's a little bit more complicated than that. So even if you have an amazing loadout that can destroy his entire theoretical health supply within seconds, you're still gonna have to do all this. Because, you might be wondering, I don't know, once you see the end of this fight, you might dare to wonder, is there a possibility that maybe, just maybe, if I somehow manage to actually wear his health down to non-existence before I get to the weird scripted thing, should I be able to unlock some kind of alternative way of beating this guy with my answers numbers? I'm gonna need to beat him, unfortunately, and we're gonna see exactly what that is soon enough. Okay then. Oh dear, right. Let's hear the cry of shore and climbing up this passage. Shore. Until we get up here to where the elevator is. Go to hell. Okay. And so he does, I guess, by expelling his very ample supply of blood. So now that we've dealt with that good nuisance, let's go all the way back up and check out the top of the lighthouse, why don't we? Well, it seems to be in working order. But once we absorb this glyph, it will no longer be Illuminatio. So we just disabled the lighthouse and doomed several ships to their watery grave, I guess, by not providing guidance. That's how lighthouses work, right? And now Brachiosaurus remains are gonna be forever down at the bottom of the shaft there. Okay, we got somebody else down here.
Thanks.
It is Eugen. Do you mind how bound you say anything? Don't remember hearing his voice, but I saw his eyes. He's got a purpose. I can tell you that, good or bad purpose, that I couldn't say. Come back to the village. I'm worried about Father Nikolai. And you? How the hell do you get all the way here in this flimsy gear? Come see me in the village. I'll shoot you up proper. So there we go. That guy doesn't think very highly of our clothes right now. Must have passed this way, it's on the path. And we got a serpent scale, which lets us move freely underwater, so can you imagine where we're going to be going next? We're going to be returning to the Caludus channel, but with the ability to actually swim this time. So I can stop by this guy's house.
Right.
3 iron ore, 3 bracket iron ore brackets. Your armor's 7, bring 3 iron ore, then we'll talk. Right, see you later. Shmidario, come on. Don't talk to me now. But I don't think we have any iron ore right now, so we're not going to be able to complete that request just yet. I don't know, do we? I know we got copper ore from the guys. You have to copper ore, but don't have any iron ore yet, so we can't really complete that request at this time. We can, however, go into the dark underwater recesses of the Caludus channel, which has these statues for some reason, alongside the groups of needles and mermen. Which we can kill them on head now, I guess. With our shiny fancy sickle glyph, and presumably not so much the hammer glyph though, I have to imagine. Oh boy. Yeah, the killer fish for being killer fish, they're not really that threatening. Pretty much the only game where they actually do anything that's not just meandering around and just going back and forth between 2 horizontal points. Pretty much the only game where they actually try to kill you actively is Area of Sorrow. And we can try out the full Goro glyph to get from somewhere. Prison Island. There's the Dark Octopus that was down there, which is kind of a weird thing. It's a recycled enemy from Symphony, but like wasn't in any other games other than that, so it's a bit of a unique thing to have there. At least I'm pretty sure there weren't any Dark Octopi in Rondo. I remember Dark Octopus being a pretty good source of cheap experience if you have the Holy Water sub-weapon in Symphony. Just try to master that, I don't know. More anti-venom we don't need. I don't even think we've run into anything capable of poisoning so far. So I don't know why we keep getting those things. But anyway, we got a little warp room here. Warp room here, which is kind of interesting given that, you know, the surface area of the Kairos channel which we traversed before, it doesn't have any of those things available. Warp rooms, that is, so we need to find another warp room before that would even be useful for me. Also note these little blue guys that aren't showing up anymore, but will probably do so shortly. So let's get back to that room, I guess. Come on, please. There we go. Is there anything over here like a passageway? There is. There we go. Before I check that out, I wanna go back over here. Hang on a minute. And by a minute I mean more like a second. Alright. So these blue things called Gelsos are pretty much underwater fleamen. They're annoying and they're weak, but they're also nimble and they follow you everywhere. These fuckers are trying to do right now. Well, at least one fucker, I guess, the merman. And, oh, it's a sea demon, which is the same as a regular demon, except it's underwater and it has the head of a hammerhead shark. A hammerhead demon, I guess. Also a tail, I don't remember if the normal non-water demons have that tail too. So I can try to remember that. HQ max up, alright, there we go. You know, something I really do like in RPGs is when, like, you get to an area where you're pretty much guaranteed to take some damage because of how, I don't know, they're being difficult to trick the enemies around, and basically your health starts dwindling from all that. Jesus Christ. Please let me move or do anything. And they put something there to basically help you refill your health because you know, or they know that you'll need it. Also that black ink as a drop. Oh boy, that's actually pretty lucky since I'm gonna need that at some point for a quest, and I can see it's a 4-star drop. Which means as a drop it's not supposed to be that common, but I get it anyway. So yeah, the Dark Octopi, it looks like are actually weaker against the, what do you call it, against the slashing weapons such as the scythe. Why got a resist ring? Increases magical defense, sure I will take that. Then I will try to look for the way out of here. Actually, I think I missed the way out of here before. I should probably take because I really need to take a pit stop at the save room right now. I think the only save room in this area is going to be the one up there. So here, instead of trying to go over to the side, go to the top instead. You'll notice a few patterns with the enemies, kind of enemy varieties and what kind of weapon types are weak against. For example, skeleton-based enemies will probably be weaker against hammers and fire, I guess, if what Barlow said back there is any indication. And there we go. So you see this barrel with the parachute over here, maybe nothing. Need to gently nudge it over to the right here. It's not as easy as it might look. Just keep like facing through it. It's not like a completely solid object. It's like a partially solid object, I don't know. So that you slowly move through, I guess. Rather than moving up against it, you move through it. Careful, a little bit of resistance, but you move it all the way over here. I can please get rid of these fuckers which spawn indefinitely. Basically, no, I can't get rid of these fuckers. And then when it's far enough over to the right, then you activate it like so. Blow up all the stones that are blocking the way. They're gone now. Also, this, hidden wall over here. And yet, life max ups and heart max up, but, or MP max up rather. Heart max up, and instead of having an HP max up, you get a super potion. So now I should be able to move actually. Before I go to the sink, and let me check out the ocean floor. And these screens, because I think there's like some hidden treasure down here. Don't know. Okay, yeah, here's something. It's an actual HP max up this time. How do you know? I'm just taking advantage of the fact that the HP max ups and the super potions look very similar. Except the appearance of the HP max up relics are a bit more, a bit spiffier, a bit more polished, I think. If I were to describe the look of either or. Those are probably the words I would use, right? MP max up this time. MP max up, which is quite a bit important considering that MP is your, the fuel for your attacks in this. A bit more important than it might have been in the past. Need to do anything. And holy crap, I'm really feeling sleepy right now for some reason, Like I said, I had a good night's sleep and everything. I didn't even, wake up that long ago. And I didn't even go to bed that early yesterday either. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna try to power through it for now. But let's see, now that we've checked out that part of the channel, let's check out the other part, which is over on the left side. All the 4 new enemies from Portal 4 and recycled in this game. Guess it makes a little bit more sense to have a giant monster jellyfish swimming around in the depths of the ocean rather than having it just floating in the air in a city. Oh, there's another saber right there. Oh. Well, that works out, I suppose. I guess we're gonna open up the passageway out here first. Probably wait to the top passageway that we already know about at least. And there's a reason why I phrased it that way. Pretty sure we're gonna want that cotton thread. Let's see, I don't think we want to go back into the other room because we've already seen stuff there. Yep. So what do we got down here? Fortis Fear increases constitution and physical resistance. I think that's what con means anyway. Alright. And it's pretty much the same stick as in the other room, as you can see, but open up this shortcut back to the surface, but it's going to take a little bit trickier maneuvering because of how this works. Look at the balloon, and because of, I guess because of the nature of the balloon and the water. This thing always floats upwards whenever there's nothing in the way. So we need to move it around so that there is no resistance, and I can do that so you can actually get to where the rocks are. And not try to move it away from those rocks that we almost just did, but rather move it towards them. It can destroy these rocks forever. once it activates. And I'll into this room with you. And let's see what I got from it. Alright. So here we are. Our hard mix up and we've discovered even more of the ocean floor here. And here's an ordinary chest, right? Instead of a red chest, which is kind of what I was expecting, but it'll work out somehow. Let's see. How do we get over to the left then? It's another save room. Or save room or warp room. Oh, I'm feeling so tired for some all of a sudden. Actually starting to fuck with my concentration too. Maybe I should cut this short, but I don't know. You can't understand physically why that would be the case. I don't know. See if I can at least get to the end of this spot. Shouldn't be that much left. I believe we just found a shield glyph, Scootum. And I think that's pretty much useless for the most part. I can only imagine it being useful and stuff like, well, I guess in the same sort of deal that you use the shield for in Vampire Killer and Simon's Quest for like blocking petty small projectiles. But for the combat that's been kind of prevalent throughout this here stage, which is try not to have the enemies throw body pressed up against yours. Can't really, don't think it'll really help a lot much in that context. Let's see what we got here. Now there's a certain enemy that shows up in some of these water-based areas, you could call them. Oh boy. That's salt, I think, from the fish heads there. And lapis lazuli from one of those chests. Maybe it was the needles, probably not though, no. The needles have one drop item and it's not salt, whatever it is. It's something else, it's 4-star rarity. I believe we're almost done with this place, but can't say we're quite ready yet because there's one more place left to explore down here, I think. I'll be able to explore that right now. The exit we need to take is to the left, but if we go to the right instead, we can find more of these dark octopi. Take more damage than I thought they would. And keep going over to the right and down. I think if you look at the map percentage, it's probably like 87. Close to completion, but not terribly close to where it's like less than 1%. At a point where it's like, hey, how come you're still hanging around here? Let's take a look at the sunken ship that's over here. That I feel like we have a bit of a reference to the Forbidden Area sunken ship from Heart of Sorrow. I don't know exactly how I can find a real basis for it beyond just incidental resemblance. Also, we got this mouse that's running down here. Yeah, we're supposed to be able to catch it, but I guess not yet. It's actually a quest we have to catch one of those things, and guessing that initiating that quest is necessary to actually, be able to perform that action. thread. So there should be something out here. What's this thing called again? Spectre. Oh, we can go there and find something. Remember that. Spectre, most likely potion leader seller, alright. It's a magician ring. I thought maybe there would be like a wall, breakable wall over here, but I guess not. Because that's Sunbeam and Heart of Sorrow. Much like the potion Legend of Zelda, the only visible part of Spectre before you start attacking is the lantern. And that's something else down here, alright. Who is this then? It's Monica. What did I do to deserve me to be saved by such a beautiful angel? Well, seems stressed in the village, but let me repay you. If you're in the village, come see me, alright? Well, should be like pretty much almost 97.5% map uncovered. Glimpse of the legendary skull spider. There we go. I want to come back down here for a couple of things, as I said, because for one thing, I'm supposed to be able to catch that mouse, which I thought I was going to be able to, maybe, I guess not. I'll be able to do that anyway, because of a certain favor some people can ask. And oh, another black ink. Another super rare item that we got for pretty early in the game without even really trying. And my head's really bad. I'm gonna have to stop after this. Oh hey, I forgot to do that. Let's get a new glyph from these guys. It's Brando, we can call forth freezing ice with that. Thanks, guy. This should be probably gonna be able to try that out. But, some demon hunting here. What do we got here? Iron ore. Well, that's why the 3 iron ore that the guy asked for. It's part of his delivery. Right, it's not 100%. It is. Right. And there was up the way to Timeo Mountains, oh boy. I really don't know if it's a good idea to go in there right now though, because as I said, well, hang on a minute before I end this, let's talk to Monica here. There isn't much I can do to thank you, but please let me make you a dress. Would that be good enough? Thank you, but I do not need a dress. Only right my dresses wouldn't be. You misunderstand, dresses do not suit me. Well, hang on, I bet I can make a dress you'd look good in. Cotton. What do we need? Where's the cotton? Well, silk. There's no cotton. And I need at least 5 cotton thread to make a dress. Well, we've got 5 cotton thread from the random chest drops, I'm pretty sure. Now on your way, just for me, I'll make your dress in a flash and down a cotton dress, pretty. So there we go. Maybe I should make more and sell them at the general store. Know that you need to bother, but if you'd like another, you could buy one. There you go. I wanted to repay you, but I ended up sending you on some silly errand instead. How rude of me. This time, please let me repay you properly. This silk thread. Oh no. The silkworms all died while I was gone. Over thread. Need at least 5 silk thread to make a silk dress. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, we don't have any silk thread. Alright, it means to get one right now. I don't think so. I could have to make do without whatever we get from that, so I don't know why, but unfortunately I think my brain is not being very cooperative right now with making me adequately non-sleepy, so unfortunately I think I might have to cut this short and an unexpectedly short length. But hey, at least we got the game started. So probably, even with that, well, I don't know how many streams it's gonna take me to get through the full thing. Probably like maybe 3 or 4 counting this one. if my experience with the previous Castlevania DS games I've done for the marathon is any indication, but I don't know what's wrong with my head right now, because, like, it's telling me I'm, like, super exhausted, even though I shouldn't be. So we'll have to deal with that, I suppose, but it doesn't mean that I think I don't know what I'm saying. You can see what effect this terrible fake exhaustion is having on my capacity for speech, which is already non-existent, but this just makes it worse. So yeah, I'll see you all later whenever I play this again, probably on the weekend. Since I don't think I'm gonna be playing this tomorrow because of stuff. Because I usually don't play on the Thursdays, you know. And even if I did, well, if I did this tomorrow, it would probably be later in the day, which means this thing that's happening right now will probably be happening again, so no, I'll probably be seeing you all on Friday, so I will see you then. And good stuff, and probably no song tonight because I'm just like, why am I passing out so bad? But yeah, I'll see you next time.